Hi again, and welcome to another one of our clips in this Teaching Virtually video series, where we hope to give you some basic tips and tricks for setting up and recreating that interactive online classroom experience. In today's video, we're going to look at how you can take a mundane PowerPoint slide share and turn it into a more accessible and directly engaging learning experience for your students. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is using PowerPoint when you're teaching live. You've probably already got a PowerPoint prepared, so you'll just want to open it up and make sure it's ready for screen sharing. Today, I'm using Zoom as a video platform to demonstrate teaching online, and I've got a second device that I'm going to join as a pretend student. And the reason I want to show you this is that I want to, as the teacher, pin my video. So I'm going to do that. And what it means is that any of the students who join will have my video as the video that they see amongst all the others. Now that I've pinned my video, I'm going to share my screen and bring up the PowerPoint that I've prepared. Now, before we go into looking at some of the features, one of the features we are going to look at is captions and subtitles. So before you begin the presentation, you want to go to the slideshow tab, and there in subtitle settings, you want to check that your microphone is connected to the microphone device that you want it to be connected to. Now that I've done that, I'm going to begin sharing my slides. And having pinned your video, it means that students will see your video along with the slides that you're sharing, which can be really beneficial to learners as they're going through your teaching experience. So one of the things that I mentioned that PowerPoint has the feature of is captions and subtitles, and you can turn it on by clicking on the button at the bottom. Now that I've turned the closed captions on, hopefully you'll see the captions appearing as I've positioned them at the bottom of the screen, but actually you can change them to appear over the slide in different parts as you want. And if you have learners that don't have English as a first language and you want to have subtitles as you go through your lesson, well, if you right-click and go into subtitle settings and more settings, you can actually change the spoken language. So if you're not speaking in English, but you can then also change the output of your subtitles and the language that appears in. Now, one of the great features of PowerPoint, at least that I really enjoy, is the draw feature. You can select the pen and you can use this then to highlight and label different parts of your diagram, as I'm attempting to do now. And you can actually help solve mathematical problems in real time as you're speaking to students and hopefully guide them through the steps as you're doing so. Much more helpful perhaps than just having line by line calculations where students might not understand the different steps that you're taking. Now, I don't have very many slides in my PowerPoint, but if I did, I could use the slide viewer function to then easily flip between some of the different slides that I had, instead of just having to go through them in a chronological order. Now, if you do have diagrams and perhaps you want to highlight specific parts of your screen, then there's a zoom function. Again, look to the bottom. What I'm going to do is select a part of my diagram. So I'm going to select some sunspots and I want to zoom into that part as I've done here. And hopefully you can show that magnified view to your students. If you've got text on your slides and perhaps you want to highlight specific and key points, then you can use the highlighter function. So as I've got on the text there, I might want to highlight that sunspots are essentially appearing dark on the surface of the sun, and that's because they are cooler. Now, having gone through your entire presentation, as you get towards the end and you want to end your show, you'll be prompted as to whether you want to keep the annotations or discard them. And if you're hoping to share your PowerPoint with your students later, then it might be quite useful to have those annotations saved as well. If you're not teaching live, but you are planning on sending your PowerPoint slides to your students, then it can be really helpful to pre-record yourself going through the slides as if you were teaching live. In PowerPoint, in the slideshow tab, hit record slideshow. The first things you want to do are make sure that you've got the correct audio and camera settings of your choice. And then in the bottom, you want to make sure that your microphone is on and also that your video is on. This means that as you're recording the slides, there will also be a video capture there, and so students will see you in the bottom of the PowerPoint too. Once you're ready, you can hit the record button in the top left. Once you know the recording has started, then you can then begin to go through your slides as you normally would, and you can annotate and highlight as we have previously shown. There are some limitations though. The Captions and Subtitles feature is not available when you're recording slideshows on PowerPoint, nor is that zoom function where you can magnify into a part of your slide, and you also can't see all of your slides to easily flick-flack between them. However, once you're finished going through your slides and your lesson, you can hit the stop button to stop recording. Then you want to exit out of the screen and you want to save that PowerPoint. That file can then be shared with your students, and when they go to slideshow and begin slideshow, it will automatically play the recording that you have just saved. So there's a quick guide to using PowerPoint as more than just a slideshow when teaching virtually. We'll have more information on setting up when teaching online and safeguarding when teaching virtually in other videos in this Teaching Virtually series. And if you're looking for free digital curriculum-linked classroom resources and animated videos on astronomy and science, or if you're interested in booking a school session with the Royal Observatory Greenwich, then check out our webpage. You'll find the link in the video description below.